Hi everybody, welcome in. I thought I'd jump on here today and put up a video and kind of talk to you a little bit and show you a little bit on what I'm working on and making. It has to do with Easter in the spring, and just been doing a little bit of this and that. You know, sometimes how you lose your mojo for one thing and you switch over and do another, and you just don't really know what you want to do because you're all over the place. And that's kind of been me lately. I've been kind of scattered all over the place, you know. One part of your mind goes this way, one part of your mind goes this way, and the rest of your mind's going like this. So you don't know where you're at. But and that's when you have to just sit back and take some quiet time and just think about, you know, what you're doing, what you want to do, what's going on that's making you feel this way, what's not going on that possibly could be making you feel this way. Is there stress in your life, you know, loss, whatever. And I just wanted to jump on here and talk to you guys a little bit about that. If you've watched some of my past videos, I'm going to sit back here a little bit and get a little relaxed here. But if you've watched some of my past videos, I've mentioned in my videos that springtime is my favorite time of year. Well, I want to clear something up about that. It didn't used to be my favorite time of the year because I had a lot of loss through the springtime. I've lost my grandmother at Easter, my mom later on, like right around the beginning, you know, end of April, you know, right when the spring's getting pretty, you know, and I've lost some good friends to accidents and stuff, but and it used to be that way. And then, you know how when the winter switches over and goes into the spring, how you got all this dead tree branches, limbs, stuff left over from the wintertime on the ground. The grass is all brown and stuff. And then it just starts to get to that spring where it starts to get green and come back to life, and, you know, the flowers start coming up. But you know, it's kind of like a transition, just like what you've got to do. You know, you got to transition yourself to get back into what you love, or try something new that you might love, or step back and take a break for a little bit and do something different. I think a lot of us go through that, and it's kind of like when you crochet and you get a knot in your yarn, or you get a major yarn barf in your yarn, and you sit there and you try to pull the knot out, or you're trying to untangle it, or you got this big old wad of yarn, and it's just, you're just getting frustrated with it, and you might say a few choice words, and you might throw it down, and you might cuss at it, you might just, oh, I'm sick of this, I don't want to do this no more. We've all been there. I've been there, I know. And then you throw it to the side, or you walk away from it. Or you just say, just go get some new yarn, or whatever your choice may be. But once you do the yarn to the side, or you've cussed it out, or you've walked away from it, or you've put it aside for an hour, or you sat there and you took that knot out, or you took the big mess out, you know, the big knots out of it, or you've went and bought new yarn, or whatever the case may be. But if you noticed, when you do finish that project, or the whip, or whatever you want to call it, you've made something beautiful. And you're proud of that. And you stuck with it. And you're happy. And you've possibly given it away, or you've made it for somebody, or you know, was paid to make it for something, whatever your choice may be. But it made you happy. You finished it. Whether you don't like the outcome, maybe it wasn't the right color, but you finished it. You kept going and you finished it, and you made something beautiful. Might not be pretty to you, could be pretty to the next person. But the prettiness is you didn't give up. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Just like the spring, you know, everything's asleep in the winter, and everything gets drabby looking outside. But when that spring comes, something beautiful is coming back, and you know it. You know those flowers are going to bloom again. You know the grass is going to get green. You know it's going to start warming up. And that's kind of a promise we're given, that out of something good, out of something bad, something good is going to come. So when you sit there and you're frustrated or you're upset, just remember, tomorrow's another day. And when that day comes, embrace it, because something good's going to come. You know, and that's kind of like the way I feel about Easter. You know, whether I don't know if you're religion or you're not, something good come out of that. Our Savior came back, like he said he would. Just like the spring comes back every year. Just like winter comes back every year. Just like the saying goes, if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it never really was. So that was my thoughts as I was sitting here thinking about, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do? I don't feel like crocheting anymore. I love crocheting, but I just was running out of things. You can only make so many blankets. You can only make so many sweaters, you know, and you want to change things up. And when you're a newbie and you only know certain stitches and certain things to do or certain things to make, you know, you kind of want to change it up. So that's my thoughts on it. I want to change it up. So I'm still crocheting. I'm not saying I'm not going to crochet. I've not given that up. I'm still crocheting. In fact, I'm working on a Valentine's Day afghan, which I don't know if it's going to get done by Valentine's Day, but I'm hoping. And I'm working on that, and I'm still working on my little thread tablecloth that I told you guys I wanted to make out of the thin threads. And I started working on something. Like I told you guys, I've been mixing it up. I found this box. I'm going to show it to you here in a second. At the thrift store. I told you in the last video, me and my husband were thrifting. And it was just a brown wooden box. It had some ugly paint on it. And it was all lopsided and everything. And I picked it up and I put it in a cart. And my husband says, what do you want that ugly old thing for? And I thought, you know, out of something not so good, I'm going to make something nice. And I got this idea, so I brought this box home. I wish I'd have took pictures of it before I did it. It used to sit over there, so you might have seen it on past videos. It was just a brown wooden box. Now it looks like a cake. And I call it my celebration cake, because out of something wasn't so good, I made something that makes me smile. Might not you, but it makes me smile. So I worked on this. It was just an old wooden box. I took and I painted it with plaster, Waverly plaster paint. And I had these stickers I got at the Dollar Tree. I put them on there. Now, mind you, this box lid is all lopsided from being dented and banged up, so that's not my doing, but I still wanted to make something pretty. And I put a ribbon around the sides. I put some pearls on it, and it made it look like an Easter cake, or not an Easter cake, but a spring cake. But the lid comes off, and you can store stuff in there. So I just put some of these little figurines of different things in here, and figured I'd just use it for storage. I'm debating if I want to put fabric on the inside or not, but that's just something that I did and thought I'd show you guys. In the last video, I showed you guys the lamp I was doing. Well, after I got done showing you guys this lamp, and I told you I was done, I decided I was going to add more to this lamp. And I did. So, I really flossied her up. If you remember, I showed you part 1, part 2. Well, this is the final frontier. So now I have a little rose. I call it the little rose lamp. My little eye candy when I sit at my desk here. So I figured I'd show you guys that. And getting back to what I was talking about, taking something and knowing that it's going to come back, the bad's going to turn to the good, the dead's going to come back and give it some life, you know, and things that are outside that's not so pretty at the time, or, you know, just like, you know, day turns into night, night turns into day. You might not like the nighttime, but the sun's going to shine again. You might not like the sunshine, but the moon's going to come out. So in that, I thought, what could I do to kind of remind me that everything's going to come back? So I seen something similar to this on one of the channels. I don't know who it was because I watched so many videos, so I can't remember who it was, but I thought, I am going to make me a little tree, a little Easter tree. So what I did, you guys are going to love this. Maybe not, but I went to the Dollar Tree, and you know how they have the little cube boxes? Well, I bought one of the little cube boxes, and I painted it with some green and pistachio. I mixed the greens up. I got some glue sticks on there, but then I thought, I'm going to go outside, and I'm going to pick me up a stick out of the yard off the tree that's been dead all winter. And I did, and I thought, now how am I going to get that to stick inside here? Well, me and my thinking, I got glue strings on here from gluing this. I used a ribbon, one of these, stuck it in there, through the hole. I stuffed some styrofoam to kind of make it. And then I took those little glass pellets and put it in here to make this heavy so it wouldn't tip over. Well, then I went outside and I got some sticks. And I put them together. And I thought, well, that really looks kind of dull. So, and this was really black. So I took some grays and whites and browns and just kind of dry brushed them on there to try to give it some color. And I thought, it's a dead branch. But if you look right here, let me see, there is some little blossoms coming out. Well, now this isn't, it was already broke off the tree. I didn't, if it would have been on the tree, I'd have left it alone, but it was broke. But just the meaning that there's a new coming. So I glued them in here, and I thought, I am going to make an Easter tree with you guys. I also thought, I'm going to put a bird's nest in there. So I used a button, and I took some of that Celsius grass or whatever, and some of that little, and I made a tiny little bird's nest. And I had these little bitty gold pearls off of an old choker that was costume jewelry that my grandma used to give me to play with. So I took some of those off and I painted them. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's actually a robin's egg blue, but I painted them and put them in that tree for, to let me know birds are going to come. They're coming back. Spring's here. So now I'm going to lower the camera and I'm going to finish this tree up with you guys and see where it takes us from there. All right, so I'm going to lower you now. All righty. Can you see that tree? Okay. Well, first things first, I think I got this basket of stuff that I dug out just to see what all we had in here. I got my glue gun going, so he's good and hot. That's some of that ribbon. I don't need that. There's some of that. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Alrighty. I think I'm going to wire these on there. Got some ribbons. I just went through and found different things, guys. So this is what I'm going to do with it. Hopefully I don't keep this video too long, but it might be a part 2, like the lamp was. Okay, I got these little sprigs. They were all on one. And I took it apart last night, just when I was gathering things to do it. And if you ever see those magnolia trees, that's kind of what it reminded me of, the pink trees that get the flowers, the big tulip trees. I thought, why not wire some of them on some of the branches to where it looks like, you know, the tree's going to bloom. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this, somehow wire that on there. I'm going to wire some of these on here. So, all right, let's get on here. There's that one. And, oh, some of them's even got some little crystals on it. Well, you know what? We still get ice storms in the spring sometimes here in Ohio, so that's going to work out just fine. Let's put you on that one so it looks like the ice is falling down there, like it's hanging from the tree. You guys see that? Oh, where did I put it? There it is. See there? Right there. This is hanging from the tree. Okay. And let's put some more here. Probably going to have to put quite a few of these on different branches, so I'm getting out of camera here. Let's put this one on this one. One thing about it, I don't have to wire it really, really tight. So, because it's not really going to fall off. The tree's already starting to get a little color to them. There. There's that one. What happens on the left happens on the right. Heard that many times from Ramon. Ramon at home. If you guys don't know who he is, he does a lot of florals. And he is, and you know, decor. And wreaths and flowers. And I'm telling you, this man, he could turn a weed into a beautiful flower. I mean, you could give him a bunch of fake weeds, and I guarantee you he could make you a beautiful bouquet with that. You guys need to check his channel out. Ramon at Home, I'm pretty sure was his name. He taught himself English. He didn't speak English, and he's got a story, and his story will amaze you. So, you know, check him out. I really love his channel. He said one time, he does a lot of Christmas decorations, and on one of his videos one time he said his goal was to decorate the White House one time for Christmas. And I seen some of his jobs that he has done in some of the bigger homes, and oh man, the White House don't know what they're missing. They need to give this guy a call. Just, you know, set him up and let him go and just let him decorate it. I would love to see what he could come up with this in the White House, because some of the bigger homes that he's done videos on that he's decorated are amazing. They are just simply gorgeous. Now we got some we can put here. I'm just wrapping these guys in no particular order. I'm just putting them on there. And some of these little crystals, they look like ice, like it could be ice pellets hanging off the tree. But these little blooms next to the little crystal ice pellets, it's a promise. Spring's coming. Even if it's late, it's coming. Don't give up hope. No. Now let's hang this one this way. All right. Let's go like this. I'm just kind of tucking some of them in. And we got a couple more here. Let's see, where do we need one? No, that one ain't going to hang there. It's kind of a shorty, but let's just put you right here. So you can kind of look like you're... I'm trying to be careful. I don't want to break none of these sticks off. I actually had to glue a couple of the sticks together to get the shape here, because they weren't... I didn't have enough branches. Oops, there we go. There's that one. We got two more. Right here. We need some more on this one. Because, you know, it just needs a little something here. My grandma used to say, a little something, something. You need to put a little something, something with that. My grandmother lived to be 92 years old, guys. And she had the skin. Her skin looked like baby skin. Even as she got older. It just amazed me how much her skin was so pretty. I always used to just sit and stare at her skin, how pretty she was. My grandmother, and for having such a hard life that she had, her skin was just, it didn't reflect her hard life. But she did have a hard life from just stories and, you know, seeing a few things myself. But, yeah. Okay. Now, can you guys see my little buds on the tree? And my little ice crystals, too? Okay. Next, let's see. We have, let's maybe do this grass. I'm going to cover this up down here first. I cut a little piece of felt. I'm going to wrap it around the bottom of this tree base here. And let's see. Let's get you a little glue here. Just put you there. I don't want to do it tight, but just enough to cover that roller thing up here. Because other things are going to cover it up, so I'm not too worried about how it's going to look. I can always trim it off, cut it off, or tuck it up in there. There we go, like so. There we go. Get in there. Do you all decorate for Easter? You know, do you celebrate Easter? Do you have a dinner? I'm not so much in going out and, you know, buying all the commercialized stuff other than this little decoration here I'm doing, but I do like to celebrate it with a dinner with the family, having the kids over, you know, thinking back to things and remembering family members and stuff like that, just in general. Okay, I've got some of this grass stuff here left over. I get it at the Dollar Tree. I guess it's like deer moss or something. I thought I'd put some of that on here too. Kind of cover that felt up, make it look a little more realistic. What do you guys think? Yeah, we'll do that. What am I going to call this? Tree of Hope? Life? I am just putting this on there any old way. I'll just put that on there. And on here. There we go. And we'll put some over here. Get some in there. And some there. And maybe a couple little more pieces over in here. I got to get some of that baldness out of here. That felt kind of hide that up in there. I mean, when have you ever walked in a area where the grass is all just perfectly level, right? Okay. There we go. I could tell y'all a story while I'm doing this. But I have to think here a minute on which one I would want to tell, because some of them might not be suitable for YouTube. But there we go. We got that green. What do you guys think? I think that's gonna. Whoops! Not good enough. Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, I could tell you a story about me and my cousins around Easter time, actually, and what we did. Probably one of the good spankings I remember that my mama gave me, and I never seen the sense in it as I got older, and I brought it up to her a few times. But I'll tell you guys the story, and then I'll tell me what you think. When I was a kid, you guys know my family's from the South, and work got hard, so my mom and daddy moved up here, and I was born up here, but my brothers and sisters, older brothers and sisters, were born down in Tennessee. So my mother and dad finally, they divorced, and I was fortunate enough to have another dad, a stepfather, which to me, he was a dad as well. I didn't consider him a stepfather. I was lucky I had 2 dads. And him and my mother were early on into their relationships. While I'm talking, guys, I'm going to put these little eggs on a tree. Or wait, maybe I should do the bottom first. Yeah, so I don't knock the eggs off. Okay, I did find some of these little rabbits at the Dollar Tree. I put some little pom-poms on them for tails. I painted that one white, but then I went over it and dry brushed it with some brown. And so I think I'm going to glue these rabbits under one of these rabbits under the tree somehow, but I'll figure it out as I'm talking to you. Pull that down, you guys can see a little better. Okay. Well, anyways, my mother was one of these that everything had to be clean. I'm talking clean, spick and span clean. She ironed the bed sheets. She'd iron our socks. You know, when we was little girls, you had those little socks with the ruffles on the edges. And they put them on you, and them lace would itch you to death, and you'd be sitting there scratching like crazy. And at Easter time, you got an Easter dress and a bonnet and a little hated socks and a pair of Mary Jane shoes. And if you don't know what Mary Jane shoes are, yeah, they were just little black shoes with a strap, or some people call them different things, but we called them Mary Janes. And you got their bonnets with the ribbons, and she dolled you up. Well, she wanted to take us down to visit some of the family that I hadn't seen yet. So it was around Easter time, and she called a couple of my aunts that I had, like I said, I hadn't seen. And she said, we're going to come down for the holidays. And my aunts were like, oh, I'll be so happy to see you. So we went down to visit. I found another one of those. And we went up to the mountains because I wanted to see some of my daddy's people, too, you know, that I hadn't seen. And my cousins that I hadn't seen. So my mom, now you mind you, it's in the mountains, and it's muddy, and it's wet, and it's dirty, and it's, you know, just that time of year where everything wasn't so nice and sunny and dry. So she said, okay, I'll take you up there because my dad, my new dad, he wanted to go visit some of his family, which my mom had told my dad's side of the family that she would drop us off and we could spend some time with them, and she'd come back and get us a couple hours, and we'd go up to my aunt's and go to the church and have dinner and what have you. So she drops us off at my uncle's house. Now, my uncle's house is way back in the sticks, and it's been a-raining, and it's muddy. And me, I was never a girly girl. If I had to put a dress on, it was like, oh, Jesus, I don't want to put this dress on. Give me my bib overalls. I was a kid, bib overalls, no shirt, no shoes, no socks, let me go. So she dressed us up, and she's like, now, don't Jones get dirty. Yeah, right, Mom. We're in the mountains. You're putting Easter best on us. You're driving us here. So she goes off, and we're like, okay, we won't get dirty. Well, my uncle had a mule, and my aunt had a black mare. So we decide, my cousins, and we're kids, you know, and he's like, his name was Lyndon. He's like, hey, Cricket, you want to go see a still? Yeah, I'll go see a still with you. Well, let's get the horse and get Aunt Texie's mare, see if she'll let us ride it, and we'll go see that still. I said, all right. So we get on the horse, we get on Aunt Texie's mare, and she's bucking him every which way, and he's getting mad at her. He's trying to get her calmed down. But anyways, I'm dressed in this dress, and I got these sock anklets on, these Mary Jane shoes, and we go traipsing down this creek bed. So the mud's just a-flaring. I'm getting muddy, and I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble now. And I go, well, ain't nothing you can do about it now. I might as well enjoy myself. Oh, and I did. We went crawdad hunting in the creeks. We found the still. Actually, it was one of my uncle's stills. Oh, I just broke that twig. I'll glue him back on. It was one of my uncle's stills. So, you know, 2 young kids. We figure, we're thirsty. We've been riding them horses. We're going to get into that stuff. Well, he's like, you're chicken if you don't drink this. And I'm like, I might. He says, you're just an old city girl now. You ain't going to drink this. You're chicken. You're chicken. Well, long story short, we drank it. And we drank it. It was nasty. But we drank some more. And it was even nastier. By the 3rd time, you didn't really care anymore. So we drank this. And we're digging these crawdads out because we're going to go catfishing. Because I'm going to talk to Mom. And she's going to let me stay there for a few days while they go down to Gatlinburg and Smokies and stuff. I'm going to stay there and I'm going to go fishing. I kind of like this. So I told Lyndon, I said, I'll talk to my mama and she'll let me stay. He goes, well, all right. Well, by this time, I didn't realize how muddy and dirty I was, and how much mud was up in my shoes, which I really didn't care. But my mother was one of these, oh, my children are, you know, they're clean. You know, she didn't want us getting dirty. She wanted to make a good impression. Well, it started getting a little bit late, and we figured we better head back up there because I knew my mom would be coming, and we told we would only be gone a little bit. We was just going to take the